There's a specific kind of person who reads the room before they even sit down in it, who already knows what someone needs before that person opens their mouth, who stays calm when everything around them is unraveling, not because they don't care, but because something in them was trained through years of difficulty to handle exactly this. If that sounds like you even partially, this video is going to feel uncomfortably accurate, because what most people call being strong or just getting through it actually left something behind in you, something measurable, something real. And today, we're going to name exactly what that is. This isn't about glorifying pain. What happened to you didn't need to happen, and no list of silver linings makes the hard years okay. But here's what's also true. The mind doesn't waste experience, even the experiences it never asked for. So if you've carried more than your share for longer than anyone realized, these 7 clues will show you what that weight quietly built inside you. Stay until the end, because the last one is the one most people completely miss about themselves. Clue 1. You've stopped needing people to validate your perception of reality. Most people constantly second-guess what they felt, what they saw, what they experienced. They need someone else to confirm it before they'll trust it. You don't do that anymore, because at some point in your life, your reality was probably dismissed, minimized, or reframed by someone who needed it to be different from what it actually was. And you learned, through a lot of uncomfortable experience, to hold onto what you knew to be true even when no one else was holding it with you. Psychologists call this epistemic autonomy, the ability to trust your own internal observations without external confirmation. It's rare. Most people spend decades in therapy trying to build it. You built it the hard way. Clue 2. Your patience isn't politeness, it's precision. You've noticed it. You can sit inside an uncomfortable situation without immediately trying to escape it, fix it, or fill the silence with noise. While other people are already reaching for solutions, you're still watching, still gathering information, still letting the picture complete itself before you move. That's not passivity. That's restraint built through experience. When you've lived through situations that had no quick fix, no shortcut, no rescue coming, you stop expecting them. And somewhere in that surrender, you develop the ability to wait with intention. Research in behavioral psychology consistently links high distress tolerance with stronger long-term decision-making. You didn't learn this in a classroom. You learned it in the middle of something you didn't choose. Clue 3. You can tell the difference between someone's mood and someone's character. This one is quiet, but it runs deep. Most people confuse the two. They take someone's bad day personally, or they give the benefit of the doubt to someone whose pattern has been clear for months. You don't make that mistake as often. You've spent enough time around people who were inconsistent, whose good moments were real, but whose overall pattern told a different story, that you learned to read the full picture, not just the highlight reel. You watch what people do when things get inconvenient, how they treat someone who can't do anything for them, whether their kindness has conditions. That kind of discernment doesn't come from being cynical. It comes from having been burned enough times to start paying closer attention. Clue 4. You carry grief without being destroyed by it. At some point, most people in your life have come to you not because you had the answers, but because you didn't flinch. You can sit inside someone's worst moment and stay present, not trying to cheerfully redirect them toward a better outlook, not reminding them that everything happens for a reason. Just staying. That's rarer than people understand. Grief literacy, the capacity to be with loss without needing it to resolve quickly, is something most people in the Western world are almost completely untrained in. We're a culture that sprints toward closure. You've already spent time in rooms where closure didn't come, and you learned to breathe inside that, which means when the people around you need someone who won't panic in the presence of pain, they find their way to you. Clue 5. You don't perform enthusiasm you don't feel. There's a version of social life that requires a kind of constant performance. Enthusiasm on cue, energy manufactured for the room, small talk maintained like a full-time job. You've gotten worse at that. And honestly, that's a sign of something good. When you've moved through genuine hardship, the social scripts start to feel thin, hollow, like wearing a costume that used to fit and now doesn't quite. You're not rude. You're not antisocial. But you've stopped being able to pretend to be excited about things that don't excite you, or unbothered by things that bother you. Somewhere in the process of surviving what you survived, the gap between how you feel and how you present closed. Psychologists call this post-traumatic authenticity, a recalibration of self-presentation that tends to emerge after significant adversity. Some people find it confronting. The people worth keeping find it like fresh air. Clue 6. Your instincts move faster than your logic, and they're usually right. You walk into a situation and something in you already knows. You can't always explain it in the moment. It doesn't arrive with evidence or a clean argument. It's just a shift, a sense that something is off or right, or that this person isn't quite what they're presenting. And when you ignore it, you usually regret it. This isn't magic. It's neuroscience. The brain's threat detection system, centered in the amygdala, becomes significantly more refined in people who've lived through prolonged unpredictability or emotional volatility. It processes environmental information faster than conscious thought can keep up with. What feels like a gut feeling is actually your nervous system running a rapid pattern recognition scan, built from years of needing to read situations quickly. That instinct has been protecting you longer than you've given credit for. Clue 7. You've developed a relationship with your own darkness, and that makes you trustworthy. This is the one most people won't say out loud. You've been in the basement of yourself, not on a meditation retreat, not in a journal exercise. Actually in it, the fear, the anger without anywhere to go, the specific loneliness of carrying something too complicated to explain to the people around you. And you didn't disappear. That experience, involuntary as it was, built a quality that's genuinely hard to find in another person. When you tell someone you're going to be okay, they believe you. Not because you're saying the right words, but because something in the way you say it suggests you've checked. You've been to the places most people are afraid to look. You know what's down there. And you know it doesn't have to be the end of the story. That's not a small thing. That's one of the most quietly powerful things one person can be for another. Here's what I want to leave you with. None of this reframes what happened to you into something it wasn't. The years that were too heavy were too heavy. The things that cost you something real, those costs were real. But the mind you are living inside right now, the one that reads people with precision, that stays calm when others unravel, that can hold grief without collapsing under it, that mind was shaped by what you carried. You didn't just endure it. You processed it into something. And the people in your life who reach for you first in their hardest moments, they're not choosing randomly. They're responding to a depth they can sense, even if they can't name exactly what it is. You went somewhere very few people willingly go. And you came back knowing something. That's worth recognizing. Now one last thing, and this is only if parts of this video felt a little too familiar. Recognizing these patterns in yourself is the first step. But actually understanding them, working through them, and using them intentionally, that's where most people get stuck and don't know where to start. I've linked something in the description and the pinned comment that I think will genuinely help. It's a set of practical, structured guides built around emotional clarity, breaking overthinking cycles, and building daily patterns that actually stick. Nothing complicated, just real steps for real people. If your mind tends to run ahead of you, it's worth checking out. And if this video gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. I'll see you there.